lessons are introduced, there is nobody in this world without problems. We all know that. So let us try to think through this process or what Maharishi has given us, how to deal with this thing. Okay. So today, see, every human being who is born in the world, actually, we all wish to lead a problem-free and peaceful life. So there is no second opinion on this. Everybody wants to be peaceful and problem-free life. So is it happening always? We can introspect and find the answer or why this is happening ourselves. So what Vedatri Maharishi wrote is, all human beings in the world want to lead a life without pains or problems. But while living, we face problems or pains due to the past karma. So when we get this pain, we again commit sins and we get into the vicious cycle of sin, committing sin again and again. So this is the problem which every human being is facing in this world. So does this mean that one cannot come out of this vicious cycle and lead a peaceful life free of tribulations? I think the answer is no. There are ways to lead a trouble-free life. So what Maharishi did is, he understood the exact nature of what is happening and how this can happen or how this can be dealt with the scientifically advanced age which is coming in the ages. So what he did, he provided the teachings, not only teaching or preaching, he provided us the ways and means to achieve this also. So today we will be going through what Maharishi has designed for us. Actually, this topic is taken from one of his lectures in the 80s, which he gave in one of the meetings. So, if let us take the life of our forefathers, maybe 50 years back, 100 years back, they had very less amenities, not like us, but they were leading a peaceful life. But now we have all amenities. We can contact anybody across the world in real time. We can see them real time. We can interact with them real time. So the science has advanced so much, and along with the advancement, it is expected that the happiness also should have increased. But unfortunately, it did not happen. Actually, this is happening the other way. So let us try to understand why this is happening. So olden days, there were people were staying away from each other. The chances of interaction are very less. They were less, and they were meeting only occasionally. But with the current advancement of technology and the way in which we have started working, we should have the human interaction in real time and on a day-to-day basis more than what our forefathers did. So when we do this interaction, what happens is, two people are not alike. So there are always opinion differences. So this leads to hatred and we started hating each other. So if in this kind of hatred atmosphere, can we have a peaceful life? No, it is not going to be possible. So why this is happening? So the human should make efforts to understand this and change this. After understanding, we can change, and then we all can work towards transformation, which can lead to a peaceful life. So let us understand slowly why this is happening. So how we interact with the world is, we interact with the world through our five senses. So when we do this activity, we are always, without knowing, involuntary also, we are having the interaction with the world through these five senses. So when we do this activity, what happens? The imprints are created in the senses, and this imprints leads to habits. So because of habits, what we do, we keep on doing the same thing, whether it is wrong or right. Even though we know it is wrong, we keep on doing. We undergo the pain again. After some time, we keep on going. So this is what is happening in us. generally in the human being. And and one more thing is, as a human being, we don't know why we are born. If you ask a question, like I think Muthu sir or Kumaresan sir, whenever they start the class or the introduction lecture, they ask a question, why we are born, and we have heard about too many answers, very different answers: to lead a good life, to study this, to work there, to have a family, make this, make that. But we never understood what is the real idea or why we are born. So this also is being taught by it. It is being designed to be taught by Vedatri Maharshi. So how can we understand why we are born? So in order to do that, we need the self-analysis. We have to analyze ourselves, and then we can understand this. So what is happening is, as we are dealing with the world through our five senses, this imprints are created. Normally, we lead a life of emotions. So what we do is, we get emotional because of habits or whatever reasons it is. We tend to overlook what is the reality or what is the actual thing, and we tend to go through this kind of habitual cycles. So when we do this, what is happening? We are creating imprints, and these imprints create, actually they lead to the temperaments, which six evil temperaments which Maharishi has given. So they are nothing but greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, inferiority, superiority complex or vanity, and vengeance. Actually, why this is means, what will happen if we have this six evil temperaments is, we tend to do these five cardinal sins. Okay, so what are those five cardinal sins? Dishonesty, thievery, murder, rape, and gambling. So when we keep doing these cardinal sins, these sinful deeds create imprints in us. So which are negative imprints. So this cycle keeps on going, and we have the imprints stored in us. Okay, and in see the what we discussed earlier is, difference of opinion between two individuals lead to problems in life, or even it can be spouse, parent, and child, co-workers, colleagues, maybe the person we meet in a mall when we shop, whatever it is. So we need to understand why men differ. So if we start understanding slowly why we differ, then we can understand the basic issues. So men differ in seven ways, which is the physical structure, the character, knowledge, fame, physical strength, comfort, and wealth. So these are the seven which these are the seven differences. If you can think about two people, even your spouse and yourself, you can very well understand how these seven differ between two individuals. So this needs to be understood by all of us properly. And what we do, all human beings, we all think, we call this thought, word, and deed. So whatever work we do, it is originating from the thought structure. So when we do any action, this creates imprints. So what are imprints, and why these are important? Why we need to understand the imprints? This also Maharishi has given it very clearly. So what we have is, we have three kinds of imprints. First is Sanchita Karma, Prarabdha Karma, and Agamya Karma. So what is Sanchita Karma? Sanchita Karma is nothing but what we inherit from our parents, through their parents. So if you go back in the history, it can go up to the first life which came into this world. So all these millions of years of karma, they are, whether we like it or not, it is passed on from one generation to the next generation. So this is Sanchita Karma. So next is Prarabdha Karma. So Prarabdha Karma is what we do after the age of 3. Whatever we do, it creates imprints in us. And then, see, we cannot change Sanchita Karma, because this we have inherited. And then the Prarabdha Karma is what we are doing, but only one which we can have a control is Akamya Karma. So what is Akamya Karma? In Tamil, Akamya means Anma, A plus Kamya. So when the soul, Anma, is in an emotional state, so Ichche Vayapattu, when the Anma or when the soul is in an emotional state, we commit sins. So when, if we understand what is karma, if we can have a control on karma, I think this one probably, see, if somebody hit you in the shopping mall by mistake with this shopping cart, the next action what we do is depending upon our mindset. You may hit the person because you are hurt. This is one way of approaching. Probably when you say sorry, you will accept it and you will move on because it didn't happen intentionally. It is by mistake. So, what action we do, this is more important. So, this is going to create, suppose, for example, if that person hits you by mistake, okay, he is asking sorry, and then if you forget and if you forgive, that is the end of the story. But if you hit him again, the cycle will continue. So somebody will hit us. So this vicious cycle has to be broken. So in order to break this, we need a lot of willpower because it's not going to happen by simply hearing lectures. Anybody can tell you what to do, but we will not be able to follow this because we lack the mental means we lack the awareness. Okay, so we will understand how this can happen. So why this kind of things are happening is we have something called ego. So ego, Maharishi has given a very simple explanation about ego. What he says in Tamil is Anavam means Irai Maradi. So forgetting divine is nothing but ego. So this ego is the reason for all the problems. So ego is nothing but edging God out. Okay. So ego is a big problem why we are facing all the issues in life. So what is God? Actually, man minus impurities is equal to God. So what Maharishi is given is, he has given three, we have this three, what we call mummalam, ego, imprints and illusion. Okay, these three have to be removed. Once a human being gets rid of ego, imprints and illusion, then he or she will become, he will be, he will get the God's quality. God's quality is nothing but love and compassion, and this is what everybody wants to achieve in life. So when we have this ego leads us to do all kinds of actions, and this is creating the sins. So why this is happening is we lack awareness. So this is called the ignorance state of mind. Okay. So when we see, whenever we are not aware, when we are ignorant, what we do is we keep repeating what we are doing. So these habits overtake us and we lack wisdom. So when habits overpower wisdom, what will happen is we tend to commit more and more sins, and we are into this trouble. So after understanding all these things, what Maharishi has done is he has designed a beautiful course or the way of teaching. Okay, why Maharishi took this is his aim is attaining world peace. So he clearly understood that attaining world peace is not possible without attaining the individual peace. So this is the like the bottom up approach in the management. You are not getting order from above. You are the source of the transformation. So when I see when an individual transforms, people around that individual they start getting transformed, and then slowly the home, the area where we have, and then it will slowly percolate through the whole universe. So this is how Maharishi has understood very clearly that imposing anything through law or by any means is not going to be possible. It is not practical. Actually, we have seen this as an example live. Wherever there is, when we drive in this part of the world, we have the speed radar to capture if you go over speed. So what people do, they know where the radar location. we tend to speed between two radars. So this is so because then what is why this is happening is there is no control, means nobody is watching. So this is what is happening. But here there are some, in some places they have given the averaging radar. Even if they do by mistake, the next radar will capture the speed, over speed. But this is not possible everywhere in the world. So we need the self-control or self-awareness in order not to do this. So Maharishi exactly understood how it can be done. So what he did, he formed this World Community Service Center, and then he gave us this sky, nothing but the simplified Kundalini Yoga. So what is simplified Kundalini Yoga? So Maharishi formed this because of it can enrich the mind, and this will help us to put the theory into practice. So from the bookish knowledge to the practical efforts, and then as an individual, we can get rid of our animal imprints and we can become a divine soul. So Sky Yoga has got four parts. We all know that meditation, introspection, sublimation, and perfection. So here, what Maharishi did, he gave us the a meditation. So what meditation does, it increases the capability of the mind and it gives us the willpower or mental power to do what we have to do or what we want to do. And then the next stage is introspection. Introspection is nothing but to look within ourselves. Normally, what we do is we will try to find others' mistake. If you ask somebody what is wrong with him or her, they will try to give a full page of or maybe pages of mistakes what others are committing. But if you ask the same question, what is wrong with you? And we all tend to say that no, I am perfect. There is nothing wrong with it. So this one will be overcome by this introspection method. So when we start going into the introspection, we understand what problems we have or where we lack, and we can correct ourselves. And then it leads to sublimation. Sublimation is nothing but our mind is getting purer, purer and purer, and then perfection. So perfection is nothing but attaining God realization through the and peace through the purification. So this is the ultimate aim of everybody's life. So for meditation, Maharishi has given 9 types of meditation, and then actually, if you try to understand what is meditation, so we all know that what is meditation. What we are doing in meditation is we are trying to observe the life force. So Maharishi has given very clear explanation. What is mind? Mind is nothing but it is a psychic extension of our life force. So when we start observing the source of our own self, then the mind is getting calmer and calmer. So he understood this very clearly from the teachings of our forefathers, and then he passed on to us in a very simple way. That is why he is called in Tamil Pamara Makkalin Tattva Jnani, which means he is the spiritual leader of the common man. So what he has given is uncomplicated way of dealing with this. So the people who have undergone through these teachings, we all can understand, and we have seen that his teachings are applicable in any part of the world. You go to anywhere, any language speaking or any country, these teachings, there will not be any ambiguity with Maharishi's teachings and the practice or the rules and regulations in that part of the world. So he has gone to that kind of extent with this thought, with this thinking, and with this foresight, and he gave us this kind of practices. So what is Kundalini? We saw that we are observing our own life force. So if you go to Patanjali Yoga has got 8 steps: Yamam, Niyamam, Asanam, Pranayamam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So the first 4 is Yama Niyam is nothing but do's and don'ts. And then Pranayama, we know this is the Pranayama. And then Asana, Yogasana. And then next comes Pratyahara. So what is Pratyahara? Pratyahara is nothing but to liberate one from the sensual pressures of the world. This is the first step. And then the second one is Dharana. What is Dharana? Dharana is nothing but to stay focused on what we are doing. And then Dhyanam. So Dhyanam is nothing but to stay focused on the origin itself. This is what Maharishi has given. And then Samadhi. Samadhi in Tamil is Sama plus Adi. So we are getting one with the Adi. Adi is nothing but the origin, which is God. So why Maharishi has given this? When we start doing this Dhyanam, so okay, in this fast world or in this very advanced and how we are working, if one has to undergo all these 6 steps to come to Dhyanam, it would be very difficult. So maybe it will not be possible in our lifetime because of the current way of life. So what Maharishi has given is he has taken us directly to the step of Dhyanam. So once we start doing the meditation, the Pratyahara and the Dharana happens by default actually. So when we anybody who has taken the initiation, they say they bring the energy from the Muladhara to the Agna Chakra, and then they say stay focused, stay focused. So this dharana comes automatically. So once you start doing meditation, we slowly liberate. We started understanding what is emotional state, how we are dealing with the sensual process, and then pratyahara happens. So when these things happen, and samadhi is by default, we will be able to achieve, which is nothing but the God realization. So this one also, he has given another beautiful explanation. Why this is happening is how the mental frequency is happening in each and every stage. That is also one of the main things. So normally, a human being, we are in the state of beta, which is 14 to 40 cycles per second. And then there is a state called alpha, theta, and delta. So as we progress in the meditation through the advanced state, we go from beta to alpha to theta to ultimately to the delta stage, which is 1 to 3 hertz per second. So we get that kind of calmness when we start doing this meditation. So this is the beauty of meditation, and we know all the introspection. What are the introspection methods he has given? He has given thought analysis, moralization of desire, neutralization of anger, eradication of worries, and last is who am I? So first is thought, like we see before, thought, word, and deed. So whatever we do, it doesn't. We will not be able to do without starting it as a thought. So thought is important. Thought is the source of all good and bad, whatever we live. So there is a saying, thought sculpts a man also, and a person's personality is based on his thought also. So the thought analysis Maharishi has given. So even after we do this thought analysis, he clearly understood that it is not a normal human being in this world, at this in this phase of the scientific advancement in the materialistic world, we will not be able to achieve the things properly. So next stage, what he gave is moralization of desire. So what is desire moralization? So there should be a difference. We need to understand the difference between wants and needs. For example, nobody can say that we can remove the desire or we can abolish desire, because to live itself is a desire, to continue to live itself. So desire is important, but he has given very clearly why we need to moralize. So once your desires are moralized, then problems will be less. And then he understood that even by this practice, we will not be able to moralize all the desires. So next stage is neutralization of anger. So whenever any desire is prevented, we get angry. So he has given methods to neutralize the anger. So he didn't say that remove the anger or negate the anger. He gave the steps for neutralizing the anger also. And then next is, even if you are not able to get angry, if you start storing this, irupukattiyasinam it is called in Tamil, and then we go to, it leads to worries. So this eradication of worries he gives. So he has given the word of eradication, kavalai ஒழித்தல். He didn't use the word eradication anywhere. He has used the eradication for worry, because he has understood that worry is the worst part of this. We call kavalai in Tamil, and kavalai is actually it is a vessel in the olden days where they take water from the well and it is used for irrigation. So what happens is, if you keep worrying, all our biomagnetism, all our energy is getting drained like kavalai. So it will be, we are wasting our energy if we are worrying. So he has given the method to eradicate worries. So once we go through all these four, and then we will understand who am I. Who am I is the ultimate thing which we need to understand. And let us have a question ourselves: why we need to understand who am I? If we go back to how we started, the problems in life is happening because of interaction with two individuals. So when we understand who am I, then we will be able to make out there is no difference between two persons. So whatever is in me is whatever is in the other person also. So that is the very high level of understanding. Once we come to that situation, or once we have this understanding, we will be having less and less problems. We will be able to interact with the other persons in a very positive way, and we will have trouble-free life. So once we start seeing people equally or the same, so then the problems will be, it will be reducing in our life. So we know that why this is happening. Suppose if a person starts giving trouble to us, and then we will clearly understand why this is happening. It is not because he or she is not doing this to us intentionally. We understand that God is using him or her as a tool to pay back for our karma or sins. So once we start understanding this, then life will become much easier. So earlier we saw about imprints. Okay, so imprints like ego, imprint, and illusion. So the imprint is one of the three important things which we need to handle. So can we deal the imprints properly, or once they are there, is it not possible to remove or eradicate? So Maharishi has given a beautiful explanation on how we can abolish the imprints also. So what he says is there are three ways to eradicate the imprints. The first one is expiation. Expiation, what is meant by expiation? Expiation is nothing but we have to repent what we have done, the mistakes, and then we can offer solace. We can console them, or we can do some noble deeds, and then we can ask them for forgiveness, either mentally or actually we can ask them go in person, and then these are all the ways for expiation. And then the next is superimposition. We all know imposition. Maybe in our school, in our young age, we might have written imposition. If there is any mistake, teacher will say write it 10 times, 100 times. So this is the same thing. So superimposition is nothing but we are superimposing the sins we are doing by doing more noble deeds or by good deeds. So for example, if you do physical exercise continuously, probably whatever we have done before, slowly it can be corrected. So we will get good health, and then slowly all these problems can be corrected. In the same way, if we start doing meditation, all our past karma or everything can be handled. And then the last one is saying neutralization or dissolution. So what does it mean? So dissolution is nothing but it is the God realization followed by awareness and by leading a virtuous life. So when we have these three, like when we realize God, when we are aware, and when we are following a virtuous life, we will stop doing all the evil deeds which are harming others, either physically, even or mentally. And then this prevents us from doing further sins. So this is the nothing but neutralization or this dissolution. And Turyadhita meditation helps us in achieving this. And then the next one we started, we discuss about the six temperaments. Actually, what are these six temperaments? Six temperaments are born out of ego. So ego is nothing but I and mine, which is aggressiveness and possessiveness. When we have these two, they give birth to six evil imprints, which is greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, inferiority, superiority complex, or vanity, and vengeance. And we saw that these six temperaments, they lead to five cardinal sins, okay, and which leads to sinful imprints. and this cycle continues. So what Maharishi has given is, it is possible to change these 6 evil temperaments into noble qualities. So why it is important is, once we have this evil temperament, it leads to sinful imprints, and once we convert this evil temperaments into noble ones, we started doing good things, and we start having the positive, or the not the sinful deeds, or the good karma. So he has given ways what we can do with the greed. Greed has to be converted or changed into contentment. So contentment is nothing but we are contented with what we have, and this is the contentment. And then next is anger. What can we do with anger? Anger has to be converted into tolerance. So tolerance is one of the basic requirements as per Maharishi in how to have a peaceful family life. So the tolerance, the anger has to be converted to tolerance. And then miserliness. So miserliness is possessiveness. It has to be converted to charity or philanthropy. So when we start doing this charity or philanthropy, slowly we will be doing good deeds, and we will not be we call conjusi. We don't keep everything to ourselves. And then in the immoral sexual passion, it has to be changed to chastity, karpu neri in Tamil. And then inferiority superiority complex, which is our vanity, this has to be converted to parity, which means everybody is equal. We are not looking at people who are above me or who are below me, and I will not behave accordingly. And then the last one is nothing but vengeance. So vengeance it has to be converted into forgiveness. So we have to forgive for people who have done their mistakes. And once we convert all our 6 evil temperaments into these noble qualities, we will not do fresh sins, and we will be doing positive karma or good deeds, and it will be helping us in kind of superimposition, or in order to remove the negative karma. So what it does is, this kind of things practice helps us to get into the state of awareness. And when we are aware of ourselves, or what we are doing, or what we are speaking, or what actions we are doing, then it will help us from minimizing the negative imprints. So we will start with action, and then word, and then ultimately what Maharishi has taught is thought. So thought is the originating of all the sins. That is why he has given this twofold moral principle. So what we say at the end of every meditation, I in my lifetime will not do any sins to anybody, either physically or mentally. So to the possible extent, I will remove the pain of others. So when we keep telling this auto suggestion or this twofold moral principle every day, twice after the meditation, this gets imprinted in ourselves, in our subconsciousness, in our subconscious mind. And this subconscious mind, when it gets imprinted into subconscious mind, when we start, first what will happen is, it will start with the deed. Okay, when we try to do something wrong, and then we will stop, definitely it will be, we will understand that yes, this is a problem, we should not do. But ultimately we should end up in not even thinking bad about others, or thinking about committing bad, means committing any, or thinking bad about any people. So this ultimate aim of if one tries to even stop actually thinking bad to people, then that is the ultimate thing which we can achieve in life. So why we need to achieve all these things, like we discussed earlier, this all will lead to individual peace. So when the individual is at peace, the people around him, his family, they will be at peace, and which will lead to ultimately to the world peace. And Maharishi has given one more thing which we missed in between, which is nothing but the cause and effect theory. So due to the clear understanding of cause and effect theory, that theory helps us in very clearly following what we are doing. So this cause and effect is one of the best things which Maharishi has taught us. So let us all Let us all understand his principles, and whatever procedures or whatever the practical aspects he has given us and which we have been taught. Let us follow all these principles and lead a trouble-free life, or we have to manage the problems. Because if one thinks to have a trouble-free life or the problem-free life, that itself is the biggest problem as per Maharishi. So problems will happen in life, or troubles will come in life, but we need to equip ourselves how to manage them or how to handle them. So let us all follow these practices, not only teachings but also his practices, and try to equip ourselves to manage the problems in life and lead a peaceful life. Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir. Be blessed with it.